Hey guys, James Blonde here with MMOHuts.com, and I'm actually in the amazing Twitch booth here with Vainglory at Super Mega Corp, and I'm sitting here with...
Hi, I'm Q Wang, otherwise known as Surprise Birthday, and I'm the Chief Product Designer at Super Evil Mega Corp.
And my name is Stefan Sherman, otherwise known as Captain Nito in the game, and I'm the lead game designer of Vainglory.
Now, we don't typically cover mobile titles and things like that, but we are big fans of MOBA games, and to the point of no return on that. But surprisingly, when checking out Vainglory, my first concern was, how do you get a MOBA on a tablet? The control aspect of that is just kind of mind-boggling. So how did you approach that?
So, first, the skepticism around that is real, and we totally understand. We had the exact same skepticism when we were approaching the product. Is it really even possible to pull off? And not just pull off so that it functions, pull off so that it functions very, very well. We have really high standards for ourselves because we're hardcore gamers, just like everybody else out there. And we wouldn't want to pursue a product that we didn't think that we would have solved that specific problem, that core problem with how we make the input work. In Vainglory, you can think of it much like typing on a keyboard. The input is absolutely as fast as you would be able to type. You have your two hands and you touch with your index fingers of both hands, and everything in the game is a tap. A tap to move, it's a tap to select your hero, and it's a tap to select an enemy. And with that, you have the most amount of alacrity and precision and feedback without your hands getting too much in the way.
Yeah, it seems like you're able to control both sides of the game just without actually having your hands in the way. You can place both hands on both sides, and then you have your skills directly in the middle, almost like a space bar on a keyboard, which is appropriate. And currently in the game, you have about 12 champions, and each champion has, let's say, 2 skills and an ultimate. And a lot of those skills coincide with each other. Like we just played a range character who ignited his own pool of tar, essentially. So tell us a little bit about the champions themselves.
Yeah, so if you're more familiar with other MOBAs that are already existing in the genre, you might expect that heroes in most MOBAs have very defined roles, whereas in Vainglory, our heroes have a lot more hybrid of a role. So each hero can do one thing really, really well, but they can also do several other things just as viably. So there's a lot of alternation in build paths that you get. And what that really means is that for players that fall in love with a specific hero and they really love playing one hero and really mastering that one hero, there is quite a breadth of ways of each game building out your heroes and what choices and what items you do. You learn to complement the situation and find a specific build path that works for your hero for that situation. So in certain team-ups, you might be playing the tank or the heavy. In other team-ups, you might be building your heroes so you're playing a lot more like a carry or a bruiser, and that really works out quite well. Every hero has their strengths and weaknesses. Not any one hero will be able to do everything well, but there is definitely a lot more viability in the paths that you can use.
Yeah, and it seemed like the game had a full-on item shop and everything. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, actually Q is a master of that.
Yeah, so yes, we have a full item shop that actually quite dramatically powers up the characters, but also changes how they play. So every single character in the game has at least 2 competitively viable build paths that look nothing like each other. And like competitively viable as in like not in like a trollish like haha that's kind of fun sometimes kind of way. Like you would see it like 75% of the time in a try-hard game you would see this build, and 30% of the time you'd see some other alternative build. So if you're try-harding, you know, 30%, it's not often, but it's enough that you need to like tactically think about, oh, I see a scarf. That's the name of one of our characters. You don't know if he's going to go build A or build B. You kind of have to plan for that. 30% is often enough that you actually have to react to it. Yep. So a lot of build options, a lot of room to react to what your enemies do. In fact, you have to react to what your enemies do. And I think that's one of the most interesting things is if your character has multiple build paths that are viable or variations in the same build path, it means that there is room for a clever player to think about what the enemies are doing and adjust and not be doing something bad, so to speak.
And what I noticed is that some of the items also have actives. I mean, this game is not by all means an autopilot type of MOBA, honestly. Because I mean, I noticed you said there's certain mechanics in there, like you were talking about the towers actually explode within a certain radius. Yeah. So you got to get in there, destroy the tower, and you can actually use that as a tactical advantage against your enemies. And so, what sort of game elements are there in like that? I know that we can control the mini map. Just with a swipe of the finger?
Yep. So actually, I'll cover I'll start with the first thing, which is the active abilities. So a lot of our items do have active abilities. If you're a new player and you're new to the genre, you don't have to use them. You don't have to buy those items, and you can do okay, right? You can get a ton of stats just by buying items. But we don't shy away from some of the higher skill cap things that you can learn and master over time by using items, especially because a lot of our active abilities are extremely timing sensitive. We have an item that blocks all stuns, all debuffs, but only for a second. So you have to have like fighting game-like reflexes to pull it off. But it looks really awesome, and everyone in the room is going to clap for you when you do it right. So we want to put those moments into the game. Other mechanics, I think one of the biggest differences is the jungle in Vainglory. It is a one lane and a very, very large jungle map. So strategically, it is much more important to the outcome of the game. I mentioned earlier that like our super minion mechanic is actually not inside the base. You don't have to breach the enemy base. There are 2 camps in the jungle. If you control each of them, they power up your minions by 1 level. So if you have some crazy early push comp and you want to have super minions with that early on to kill the first turret in the game, you can do that. That is an option available to you. We also have a gold mine in the jungle that is in the center of the map. The gold mine announces to everyone how much gold he has, and he's just filling up over time with more and more gold. So everyone is just going to get more and more tense as the gold mine fills up. Something really, really bloody is going to happen soon. Everyone knows it. Everyone's preparing for it. Hopefully you're the first team to have vision control of it first. Hopefully you have more sort of burst damage to control that. And then finally we have a late game mechanic called the Kraken. The Kraken comes out in the middle of the map also. He replaces the gold mine. And the Kraken is a very, very tough monster, boss creature. If you capture the Kraken, she will march down the lane and only destroy enemy turrets. She'll just ignore everything else and just push for you.
So let's talk about the competitive aspect of this. I know we're sitting in the Twitch booth. Does the game actually currently or going to have some Twitch integration involved?
Yeah, we're definitely going to have some Twitch integration down the road. And even before we've added our Twitch integration, we've seen a huge leap of some of our early adopters just taking the game to Twitch and finding a way to make it work anyway, which is really quite awesome. So people are already streaming Vainglory. You should definitely check it out on twitch.tv. It's quite a lot of fun. In terms of the long-term competitive landscape of the game, like Vainglory was designed to be a hardcore game, and we're unapologetically hardcore. We don't pretend like we're casual, even though we know that the stigma of the platform is that it's casual. The game itself has all the deep tenets that any other MOBA on any platform would also hold. And because of that, we also made sure that Vainglory focused more on tension and build-up as its core emotion than just raw action. And I think a lot of times when games are looking to improve on the MOBA formula, they try to make the game all about action every single moment. That's the most fun part. That's the part everybody remembers. It's got to be amazing. And they forget that so much of a MOBA involves that tension and that build-up. And Vainglory made sure that there was a lot of measured, paced build-up and those high explosive moments, more so than just having sort of a brawler kind of approach. And the skill cap in the game is quite high. We made sure that the input and the controls were fast enough, were responsive enough that you can actually have skillful play, because we believe that skillful play is really when people start playing their enemies rather than start playing the device that they're on, that it gets out of your way. You don't have to think about it a whole lot. And all of that unlocks the capability of competitive play, high-level competitive play being possible. At the end of the day, we don't know whether or not we will turn into an esport. We know that games cannot declare they are an esport. The community tells you if you are an esport or not, and we are waiting for the community to tell us when they think that we're ready. But every single day we work with that goal in mind. And we polish Vainglory, and it sounds like the signal flares are already kind of going up from some of the members of the community that they really want to see this as a high-level competitive tournament-style play. And so we're really excited to start moving into that direction.
Oh yeah, just from playing it, the time frame that I did, you can definitely tell that it's got some competitive play with the movement, mechanics, and everything. So that also leads into this question here. You are a free-to-play game, and so what sort of monetization? I mean, all MOBAs now, pretty much, they should be free to play, and we're used to seeing skins and things like that. So how is Vainglory set up that way?
So right now we have a small amount of monetization in the game. You can unlock heroes. There's a free hero rotation, but you can pay a small amount of in-game currency in order to have a permanent unlock for a hero, and that's basically all that we've put into the game so far. And ironically, a lot of that was because we just wanted to make sure our monetization functionality worked far more than we were incentivized to actually monetize it deeply, because part of our premise in designing Vainglory was we wanted to focus on growing our community and really showcasing to the community that the game for us was a project of passion. Like, we were doing this not to make a lot of money. We know there's a stigma on the platform that games are very Me Too, games are a gold rush, they promise things that they don't deliver. It always feels like the games are just very ready to take your money, whereas this game was much more about making sure that people had a really enjoyable time. They make friends in the game, that they understand that the game is here for the long run. And so our first foot out of the gate really helped support our statement that we were here for passion, and it literally put our money where our mouth is. And so while we have a small amount of monetization, the game is not heavily monetized, and that's on purpose. Our engagement is really turning out to be a huge win for us. The fact that we use that as our primary focus is really, really good. We have great community response. Our average play length for our players every day is 75 minutes, which in terms of engagement numbers is absolutely huge. It's a staggering number, and that includes our users that will just tap the app, open it up, look at the newsfeed, and close the app again. We have our forums are exploding. We have 25,000 forum posts in the month of December alone, far more than we're even able to keep up with. We're hustling to try to respond to every person we can. So overall, we're really, really happy with how this game is starting out. Down the road, we have amazing ideas on how to integrate it elegantly, but elegant monetization is a craft and something that we build along with our community, that we talk to them, we find out what they want to see in the game. And so while we're not ready to talk about what those things are quite yet, it's going to be amazing. We really focus on avoiding pay to win. We know that there are some games that are okay with that, and maybe in some genres that's appropriate, but we will never be a pay-to-win game. We will offer what we feel our community loves the most.
Very well said. I agree. All right. Well, the game looks awesome. It is available now on iPad, iPhone 5S,
Yep.
iPhone 6,
Yep.
and
the 6 Plus, and any of the tablets from the iPad 2 up.
Perfect. So everybody can download it on iTunes.
Yeah.
Thanks. Thank you for the time.